Okay. Are we going up? Come on. There we go. Nice. And let's just make sure that everything sounds good. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Let's... It's not Memories of the Spy dev stream. Okay, well the sound's coming in nice. Cool. I think I'll keep chat open like this. And I'll mute it. There we go. Really quick, can I edit my to do this change? Can I do that while we're playing? Let me just go grab a GMTK thumbnail. 2023, this one. Like this. Can I just save this? Can I just totally rip it? Save it to my desktop. Boom, 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 change, desktop. It's kind of like, sure, save. And then maybe people will get something a little bit better. Okay, so let me let everybody know. Game Jam for the day, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that seems good. Send now. Let everybody know. Even though it's not Members of Spy dev stream. Whatever, fuck it. Gotta just get to it. Okay, so I'm going to, yeah, we're doing the GMTK. It's Game Maker's Toolkit Game Jam 2023. I entered this one like a few years ago, but it's kind of been a minute. I really like this dude, Mark Brown, I think his name is. Makes a lot of really helpful game dev analysis sort of like video essays. So they've been really helpful. I think he's really cool. He pulls a huge audience, so this is a great time to enter a jam just so people can play your game, know that you exist, see what you're about. Good time to meet collaborators if you're looking for people to work with. And yeah, so I already started on my project. But I did it offline yesterday. I needed some time to think. Like sometimes you kind of just need to do it by yourself. So what we got here today is a very basic setup from what I was working on yesterday. I'll just show you really quick. We'll just we'll maximize this. So the thing I bought an asset pack for like a haunted house. I bought some sort of post-processing filters. This like old movie effect filter. I did some really basic scripting to sort of make depth of field update its like distance based off of a ray cast that's shooting from the camera. So whatever is center of screen, there's like a ray hitting it, and that's what will be the sort of the thing that you're looking at, and that's what it puts focus on. And I also have these old character models. I have this guy, and there's a woman as well. They're sort of just all suited up. They're like kind of dandy. And then I slap some animations on them. That's all there is right now. I put these lights in here, right? So these lights, the light models, they had some lights on them. But yeah, overall, there's not really much going on. Oh, I put the skybox as well, right? So that's a skybox I put in. But this is the haunted house that I'm going to be sort of making interactable for the player, so the player can do some spooking. It's funny, are these animated? It's hard to tell. Are they? I don't think they are. No. Are they? It's funny just because there's so much animation in the screen. But yeah, so the idea is that Instead of you being the player walking around a haunted house getting spooked, you as the player are supposed to be doing the spooking for these NPCs, so, or this one NPC at least. Okay, so that's the basic premise. We're gonna put some stuff in this house to make sure that we can do some spooking. So let's get it moving, because I'm going to a soccer game later tonight. And not much has been done, and look how much time is left, 22 hours. So I really got to wrap this up. I have basically, I think, until like 10 in the morning tomorrow, right? So I have a little document open to keep me on track here. Okay, so the main features. So the thing that I'm gonna start working on right now is the scare meter / fear system. So it says player collects fear from the character as much as they can before the character dies or flees the mansion. Character will flee the mansion after they have either fled or fully explored the final room. Scare meter is 0 to 100, and if greater than 100, it makes the character give up and flee the mansion altogether. Scares increase the meter by an amount proportional to how scary that scare is, right? And I have down here a whole list of scares. So it's shit like making ghosts pop up, dropping stuff off of shelves, slamming doors, creating, sound effects and stuff like that, right? So those are all the things that you as the player do. You kind of just make shit happen in this haunted house. It scares the NPC, makes their fear meter jump up or their scare meter or whatever, and you have to balance that, right? So you can't like go overboard. You can't make them leave. You want to scare them as much as you can, as long as possible, without killing them or scaring them too much to where they leave, right? So it's like a balancing act. So there's a depletion rate. Some scares reduce the depletion rate if they're ongoing, right? So if there's like something that's like constantly just a little scary, it'll prevent the NPC from like calming down. So the NPC's like staying scared instead of like calming down. Razor Edit said, Steven, such a long time no see. Yo, what's up? How you doing? Welcome. How's it going? How you been? And yeah, so some of the scares can even stop it entirely, even if temporarily. And character health acts as scare multiplier. Oh, right. So if like the character is injured, right, then that acts as a multiplier. Like the lower their health is, the higher the sort of scare multiplier, right? Because if they're gonna die, if they're really injured, they should be even more scared for their life. But if they're really healthy and they're running around and they're feeling good, then things that are scary to them aren't as scary. Things are scarier when you're on the verge of death. So I'll make their health be a multiplier. As the lower the health gets, the scarier the things are. A single jump in fear by X amount, we'll figure out what that is, will make the character flee the room and go to the next, right? So the whole idea is that they're kind of going from room to room, looking for their friend who's lost or something. And if they leave a room, that's it. So whether they left the room because they were too scared or they left the room because they quote unquote searched it thoroughly enough, we'll see what that means. It might just be a timer. But either way, whenever they leave a room, they never go back to that room. So if there's 5 rooms in the house, then once they go to this room, they never go back. And slowly you have the amount of rooms depleting until it's like you have 1 room left. And when they leave that last room, they leave the mansion altogether, and that's the end of your run, right? So it's very arcadey in that way. It's been great. I miss these streams. Hey, I kind of miss these streams too. They could be kind of exhausting, but also what was the one I did recently? I did a stream recently too, where it sort of reminded me like that they are pretty fun. I mean, I've always had a good time doing them, but yeah, they're a lot of energy, and I have a lot on my plate these days. What are you working on right now? So this is the Game Maker's Toolkit Game Jam. So hopefully gonna wrap up a simple game loop by this afternoon. We'll see. I don't know. That might be a tall order. Even if it's just one scare or whatever, that'd be cool. What's the last thing? Oh yeah, some scares can paralyze the character in fear or make them stumble back and away from it in fear. Right, so this is a way to sort of delay them from fleeing rooms. If you want to keep them in that room as long as possible, and they're like, say they've already decided that they're either too scared to be in that room, so they want to leave, or they've searched it thoroughly enough, so they want to leave. Whatever is the case, this character's trying to leave the room. You could do things to sort of delay that. So as they're running for the exit, you can kind of muddy their path. Bishka says, "Hey, what's up? How's it going, Bishka? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing? How you doing?" So I think, where do we need to start? We need to start with. Scare meter 0 then makes the character give up and flee them. So maybe we make the scare meter first, right? Let's make the scare meter first. Okay, so you can submit a game made in Unity in GMTK. Yeah, why not? Pretty sure that's what he uses, Mark Brown. He uses Unity for his projects. So let's find our guy. Right, here he is. So I already made him into a prefab. We're gonna go in here. Oh God, all this rig. Okay, there we go. So I think what I'll do is I might make a new empty in here and call this FSMs. And we'll put it up here at the top. And oh gosh, yeah, it's kind of, fuck. So here's the thing: is that with AI, there's a really nice tried and true way of making AI that I've been using. It's this like goal-oriented thing, but it takes a minute to set up. And I'm trying to figure out if there's a more distilled way I can do it. Because the last time, I don't know if you guys saw, but when I was making that zombie horde game, that I made those like last couple of videos for, where it's like you're escorting all the survivors, Survivor Wrangler. That game is a shit show underneath the hood, and it's because I rushed through it too much, and it's because all of the practices that I usually abide for in AI, I threw out the window, and that made everything so fucking hard to debug and to scale. Every time I wanted to add something, I had to like make a million contingencies for the old shit, and it wasn't a good way to design AI. So right now I'm trying to figure out like a happy balance between how can I do what I normally do, which is scalable and fucking clean and perform it and everything, but also how do I do a bare bones version of that so I could hurry the fuck up and make this. Okay, so the only thing that this character does, let's add an FSM to this, right? Let's just pretend that we can sketch out these states. So we have let's just say that these might even end up being FSMs. You have the sort of searching room mode, right? You have the you have like, I want to say fleeing, like a scare, like fleeing. Let's just call run away. Oh no, what do you call this? Because there's a difference between like leaving the room and like just being scared, like running away from something that scared you, right? So maybe there's one, we call this like spooked, right? So this is like running away from specific things. This one is this one is like flee room, so there's one just for that. And then we have by the way, what does this look like in 1080p? I know y'all, let's see, is there a way I can like where is it? This is this, right? Copy and then close. What does this look like? Just curious, because what does this look like? Just curious, because what does this look like? Quality 1080p, because what does this look like? Like, how does this show up? Are you able to even see shit? It's not too bad, huh? The resolution. Oh, now we're getting all meta. It's funny. I don't know why I thought that was okay. I could pause it back here. Right. There we go. This is what I wanted to see. Sorry, just a sec, guys. I just want to make sure that everybody can like see shit. This is coming in okay, right? Good enough. Okay. So we're on here. Just want to keep an eye on that. So you have searching room, spooked, flee room, and what else? You have right. Let's call this like. I feel like I should just make it. I feel like I should just. Yeah. Okay. 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 Fine. 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 So we'll call this. We're gonna call this. Shit. We'll call this actions, and then we'll make another empty. I guess we could just put all the FSMs like this. So like this. This will go up here. There'll be actions. And we'll get rid of this actually. Okay. So I think the architecture is going to be that instead of having goals as separate game objects like you usually do, I'm just going to make actions. So under here is where you're going to do stuff like spooked, right? And then you have like investigate, right? And then what else? Like flee room. And what else? What were the other ones I mentioned? So it's the order is like investigates first, right? They're always investigating. They're getting spooked while they're investigating. Like while they're investigating a room, something happens and it kind of spooks them. And then the worst, but then they'll just go back to investigating. So it's just you kind of go back and forth between these two. But then eventually they'll either flee room. So this might be something more generic like leave room, right? But then the programming of it can dictate whether or not it's like they're leaving by their own sort of like they're done, or if they're leaving the room because they're too scared. So we could just change that programmatically. But basically, these are kind of the three things that they're always doing. And let me just go through my little document to make sure that that's the case, right? So it's like they're exploring rooms, right? Scares the increased meter by prop. Okay. Okay, so we'll have some other little systems that are not actions that are just taking care of those values. We'll also have a system for like their vision, like what they're actually seeing. Make it sound like their friend is calling for help. Okay, moving walls, right? So investigate. I feel like there might end up being like sub actions of that. I think generally though, this is okay. So what I might do is like, see, I don't even really know what investigate is. It's like, that's just them looking around, right? Examine, maybe? Are you making a new game? I am not. Well, this is a new game, yeah, but no. So, like, not like anything recently. I've just been doing like little projects, mostly for the YouTube channel, to be honest. Just to kind of like get traffic going on the YouTube channel, because it's a little harder to produce videos based on Memories of a Spy. Because Memories of a Spy is like I'm slowly chipping away at it all the time. There's like a lot of like boring shit that's happening under the hood. Whereas like if I do like a game jam like this or that zombie game you guys saw me make, you know, I could just crank those out in a weekend. And that just makes it easier for me to make cool YouTube videos. But I'm still chipping away at Memories of a Spy. Hopefully I got the first gameplay trailer coming up soon. How far is development of Memories of a Spy? Well, I'm past the halfway point. Yeah, there's gonna be a big sort of milestone for me soon, because I made the Steam page about, like, we're gonna be going on 2 years, I think. I made, or no, about a year ago. When was it? Maybe about a year ago. And it still doesn't have a trailer. So I've been working on all these other like really sort of core mechanics and features that are like super experimental and like I feel like I'm just prototyping shit all the time. But I finally got to a place where I kind of like them, and I'm gonna be cranking out a gameplay trailer soon. Yeah. Oh, also as far as other games that I'm working on goes, the RPG course is coming out soon too. Making huge headway on it. It got a slight delay last month because I needed to take care of life stuff got in the way. By the way, how good are you at game development that you can just make a game in a weekend and say it so casually? You can too. You can too. You can too. I'm not making anything like super impressive. These games aren't super polished. They're not like bug-free works of art. They're experiments. They're prototypes. Okay, hold on. So, investigate, spook, leave room. Let me just bring this up one more time. Maybe examine might be a thing. So, I'm going to see if I can get away with this. So, each of these actions will have like this investigate, right? Let's add an FSM to this, and we're going to add events in here. We're going to call this action start. Okay, and that's going to be global, and this is going to be action stop. It's going to be also global. So every FSM, every action will have an FSM that will have this. Okay, now you're such a great motivator, my man. Thank you. You know, it's quite the sensation to see people believe in themselves, and just to get things done and to prove yourself wrong. So it's always my pleasure. It's always my pleasure. So investigate, action start, action stop. So I think it should go like this. We want this to stay out of the way. And action starting, it's kind of hard to say. So I think what you do then is on here, on actions, no, on FSMs. Okay, I'm just going to do this just in case. I'm going to call it goals. I'm going to put it up here above actions. I'm going to do it just in case. I feel like I'm building the whole system from scratch. So we're going to add an FSM, and this is going to be the... Let's see if I could make one big generic goals system. So like the goal system is going to want to check like the value of... like should it be investigating, or I should put like investigate, oops, and the value of, hold on, what is the logic here? You want an NPC that just is always prioritizing going to the next room, right? So that's first. And then it's like, if they get too spooked, oh, they also need another one that is, let's duplicate this and call it leave mansion. And maybe leave room is more like next room. You're the one who motivated me into game development. I always thought, how can one person develop a game? But in one stream you said you can crank out a game in 2 weeks, and that kind of stuck with me. Yeah, I mean, dude, prototyping is your friend. Like, prototyping and just like making something happen is probably the most important tool you can use to sort of like, gauge your interest in an idea, you know, learn new skills, like solidify new skills, like prototyping stuff. So doing things in 2 weeks, doing smaller projects is like one of the best ways to learn. Currently working on a simultaneous game. Right on. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. You should be sharing stuff in the Discord. Okay, so investigate, spook, next room. I don't know. It's like, so they're wandering around and they're going from object to object, right? Maybe if I flesh out these actions first, right? So for investigate, let's say that what it is like they go to next station, right? Or like, let's call this like spot. Oh, go to next let's call this POI, point of interest. Okay. And they go there and then they examine and then they loop through it, right? So they just go back and forth between these two, and that's what investigating is. And then they go remaining POI question mark, right? And if there's not, then they can just finish here, and then that's when they next room, right? So that's this logic. They go to the point of interest, they examine it. Are there any points of interest left? Yes. Then go to the next point of interest, examine, and they just repeat that. And if the answer is no for this, then they go to the next room. Okay. And so that's what sparks off next room. But meanwhile, so that's the thing, is that that's just this happening. Okay, so this is becoming clearer now, right? So it's like they're doing that stuff, but this can be interrupted if spooked finds itself, like if the player is spooked, essentially. So I think what needs to happen is maybe each of these actions, see, spooked is always like measuring itself, or maybe there will be a goal here that's like, that could be like we'll call this right, like our fear meter, right? So in the fear thing, this is always asking like let's see, so they're investigating, and then things that spook them, what is the logic I said in here? A single jump in fear by X amount will make the character flee the room. Okay. Otherwise, it'll just spook them, right? So I'll put like down here, like, otherwise they just get spooked for a moment and go to the next point of interest. Okay, that makes sense to me. So this fear thing, I think it's like, I want to say we make events called like fear space increase or add. And we put it here. So we have fear add, right? So every time something scares them, it'll fire this off and it'll add a certain amount. So it's like, because you want it to be able to do small scares that doesn't really affect the character too much, which sends them away, right? So fear will sort of like, oh, that happens in investigate, huh? Okay, so this is sort of a natural way that this kind of works itself out, because if they're investigating a point of interest and they're, they've gone to a point of interest, they're examining it, right? If they're in this state and then they get scared, then this action stops, and when it starts again, it's going to get the next one. So that point of interest is already off the table, which is great. That's what we want. And so spooked is actually what ends up happening. This is so funny to say. Roles reversed. Yes, that's right. That's correct. What is the theme of the jam? Right. Yeah. Joe. Is that Joha iterate or is it Johal alternate? Joe alternate. Joe alternate. Sorry, that was like so hard to read. How's it going? Welcome. Okay, so I think what I could do this is probably what needs to happen first is like I'll copy these states right now, right? Or I'm just gonna copy these two, and then we'll go to spooked, and we're gonna add an FSM in here. We'll paste these states in. We're gonna put them just like that. I might end up making a template in a second, and just because there's gonna be some other copy pasta happening. But so the idea is that in here, when you add fear, if it's enough, it'll just spook them. So it's like, so it goes two places. You check like how scary, right? That's the question, right? How scary, and then you go to two different places. If it's like really scary, then you have next room, right? And then if it's not that scary, then it's just spook, right? Maybe we'll call this like a small, or just spook is fine. So it looks like that, right? So this is, I'll put in like parentheses, right? Like small, and then this one is like big, right? So that's how scary it is, right? Add fear. It's like Joe alternate, right? Removes the H. My name is Joe Anderson, so that's my alternative name. Am I saying that right? Joe Anderson? I'm not sure if I've ever seen this. It's a badass name. It is. It's a good name. I've never heard that, I don't think. Okay, so how scary? Spook is small, spook is big. So if it's small, then it sends spooked, right? And then in here, what that does is it kind of, like move away from scary thing, right? So that's what that does. It just moves away from the scary thing. You know what I think in spooked, I think you could maybe put some degrees of you could put like a gradient in here too. So it's like how spooky. So then you could put move away from scary thing, or you could put like hide. But does that really add anything? Yeah, no, that is good. That is good. Hide would be good. I like that because that opens up some interesting gameplay opportunities. Okay, so this is like small, and this is like big, right? But that's like relative to just a spook, because a spook is a small thing. Okay, I think that works out. So now it's like when something gets added like that, it says right spooks, and then the next room big right, and then okay, that looks good. And then so these things, when they're done, I think in the spooked thing, here's where eventually you have like investigate. Return to investigate. Also, here's a problem. If they were trying to flee the room, oh, actually, no, that's not a problem. Yeah, because they return to if they're trying to leave the room and then you spook them and then they go to the state, return to investigate, they'll try investigating, but it'll realize that there's no point of interest in this room remaining because they've exhausted everything. And so it'll skip down here to next room and it'll just handle itself. That's why I fucking love this way of doing things more. I wish I would have done this for the zombie game. I was just like, oh, I'm going to try to make a game as fast as I possibly can. And you can make a lot really fast with shitty programming. You could probably do more. You could do more things in the beginning of programming a game with shitty programming, but at the expense of being able to scale up honestly kind of very soon after. Because you very quickly hit like a point of diminishing returns where all that shitty programming that you use to like do things quickly starts just like adding up in a really like just it gets so messy. It's funny because like I learned that lesson a long time ago, and I just completely threw it to the I threw caution to the wind when I was trying to do that zombie game. Because I thought I was just doing like a meme game. I thought I was just gonna do like, oh, I'm gonna be done with this super quick and like, yeah. I mean, the game's fucking done, but whatever. It just took longer than it needed to. Okay, so yeah, it goes to next room. That's great. So spooked and all that shit's working great. And then it investigates and it goes to the next room. So the next room logic, we can add that here now too. So in next room, notice by the way, like I'm just putting in like states and events, right? Like this really helps because the only like sort of, you know, call it programming that I'm putting in here is the events. And actually there's nothing even firing them off, right? Like I just know that there's an action start and an action stop. But like it's helping me sort of like map things out and then like organizing the game objects over here, right? But there's no like in these states there's nothing in here. There's no I haven't put any actions in. But like this is getting the structure, right? The actual architecture of this system. And this is like super important. So like if I nail this, I could just come in later and add content. And it's like, it won't be a big deal to just like add new things because the structure will be sound. Every single new mechanic system idea would require a refactor. Yeah, exactly. So that, or if you're talking about the whole, like me doing the fucking zombie game, right? When you do shitty code, it's like having to do you have to account for every contingency, and it's just like, ugh. But building things systemically like this, you see that like, I was like, oh, what happens if you go? It's like, nope, just handles itself. And I was like, oh, what happens if it? And it's like, nope, just handles itself. So I love this system. I love the action stop and action start. Like it's like I call it kind of like, you know, if you guys ever look up GOAP, GOAP, it's called goal-oriented action planning. Made by this dude Jeff Orkin. So it's the AI behind like Fear, and I think like a few other games have kind of used similar things to it. It can be kind of an expensive process depending on how you're using it or like how many actions you want your things to have, and it's like usually it's used for like combat stuff. But it's like super modular, and this isn't exactly GOAP because in goal-oriented action planning, there's like the way the actions are chained together and sort of evaluated, like to see like, so the AI could be like, hey, what is the quote unquote best, least expensive, with highest outcome thing I could do next? That's like, that would help me reach my current goal. That's not what this is right now. This is just more about like the chaining of actions to each other in a really modular way that kind of like helps everything handle itself. And yeah, usually I do the goal part where there is actually an evaluation thing. Like Memories of a Spy uses like a goal-oriented thing where it's like all the agents in Memories of a Spy are constantly running through this little calculation of like assessing the world state and asking like sort of what's more important to me right now. do I need to feed myself? Do I need to run away from something dangerous? Do I need to pursue my mission? Blah, 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 blah. And it's like they're constantly evaluating world state, just doing them numbers and being like, what's more important? What's more important? What's more important? This will be a way, 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 way simpler version of that. Okay, so we have this next room FSM. This one's going to be pretty easy because like, or I say that right now, but the idea behind next room is literally just to sort of leave the current room, right? Leave current room. And then on the next one, it'll say like, it's like get random room. And that random one will be on a list that like the one they were just in is no longer on. And then you have go to next room, right? But you also have a state in between here that says like rooms remaining, question mark. And if there is, then it will do that. But if not, then it'll come over here where it says leave mansion, right? So then down here now, we can go into leave mansion and put these states in. And in here, I mean, honestly, yeah, you just fucking leave the mansion. That's all this one is. Okay, so is that it? Is that all they really do? Investigate. So when they're investigating, examine. It kind of makes me wonder, like, should examine be an action? They go to the next point of interest. And then... this one's kind of hard because... examine is a little broad for this action. It's a little broad. Because it's like, okay, are they examining an item that they're picking up and looking at? Are they examining, like, you know, whatever, the closet by, like, looking inside of it? I guess what I could do, there's this other thing that The Sims does, which is, I think they call it, like, smart objects. I think that's just where you put, like, the sort of object-specific programming on the object itself. So sort of the logic of handling an apple isn't in your NPC's brain. Like, your NPC doesn't know what to fucking do with an apple. Your NPC just knows an apple exists. But on the apple itself is where the programming is that says, hey, whoever picks me up, I'm going to tell them to, like, fucking put me in their mouth, basically, you know, and do this animation and do this to their health and all that kind of stuff. And like a car, you know, your NPC doesn't know how to drive a car, but your NPC can see that there's a car to interact with. And then when they do interact with the car tells them, hey, open my door, get inside of me. I have to do like one of these, right? Get inside of me. Fucking clippers. So the logic belongs on the thing that your characters are interacting with, and that way you don't have these like massive bodies of logic and programming inside of your NPCs, and it's just a little bit more scalable that way. So perhaps that is what we will do here. You mean like command pattern, but commands are inside the object? I don't know what command pattern is. I'm not sure. But it's like, yeah, like a sort of like chain of logic of, you might say, commands or methods, right? Exists inside the object, not the NPC. Yeah, that's how Sims does it. They call them smart objects. So I think that examine's okay here, right? And I'll put a little note in my state for myself that will say use smart objects, comma, dummy, exclamation mark. Okay. So this is looking pretty good right now. I think the thing I want to do here is in action start, there needs to be a uniform thing that basically sends an event to game object, and it'll be a new variable that we'll call all actions parent, right? And we're gonna say that it's this actions root object. And I'm just saying all actions parent and not just calling it actions, just in case later on we want to make categories for actions, because who knows. And then the event that we're gonna send. Ooh, wait. No. We don't want that. We don't want that. No. What you want, sorry, I forgot that this is the setup. I was trying to get too clever here. Set FSM game object. So what it is, let's take a step back. Let's go to just the actions one. Fuck it, whatever. In here, we're gonna make a new event called. Did I say actions or action? Action with no S. Okay, so action space/space. We'll call it like set new. Okay, and that way in here we have this global transition action set new, and what happens here is we array get next. Or no, actually you do a send event that sends, I forgot the order of things. Essentially what we want to do is tell every action to stop except for the one we just told to run. So I guess the way you can look at it here is like, right, if you're in the investigate FSM, or if you're in the investigate action, while this is running, if you want to fire off the next room action from here, what you end up doing is, I think you send event to the next room thing, and you say action start, and then so the next room up here says like set FSM game object for actions, and it says like current action, we'll call it like that, and it sets it as itself, right? It's like this action, and then it sends the event to actions, action global events, action set new. And I think, yeah, okay, so then over here in actions, what it does is it has array get next, and it cycles through all the actions. So over here you need to do an array get, children. I think we need to download this. Children. Get children. So this action is just going to get all the children from a game object, and put it in an array. I guess I could have just did get next child. Maybe I should do that, huh? Ikergale? A bunch of pink hands. What's this? Some prefab instances. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Fuck it. Hello. Hi. Welcome. Maybe I don't do array get next. Maybe I didn't need to get that. So it's like get next child. Right? It gets the next child of this. It stores the next child. And then what it does is it does a game object compare. And it checks the game object. We'll call this, current action, right? And we're comparing it to the next action. Okay, so basically this cycles through all of them. It says get the next action, cool. We're actually doing programming now, huh? Loop event. Can't see my keyboard because my microphone. Okay, have a loop event and then a complete event, right? Like this, okay? So here's the logic. You get the next action, you come down here, you check, hey, is the next action I'm getting whatever the new quote unquote current action is? If so, if it is equal, then we need to send back, okay, like that. But if it's not equal, then we'll just say, okay, next, do the next thing. So the next thing, so we'll add, this is sort of like is current, no, and then here is where you action stop it, right? This is where you send the event that tells the action to stop. So you say to the game object, next action, do action stop. Okay, and then send back, go to here. And then once it's done, it just can come here, whatever. All right, so call this get next action. Okay, complete. Yeah, that works. Okay, so action stop, and if it's current, that means that, so let's see, investigate, set FSM game object. We'll set the all actions parent. The FSM is, we won't mind that. Let's just do, I guess we should have a name for it, huh? Let's see, action setter, because I'm kind of like combining goals and actions. Like if you use GOP, you have goals, and then those goals say which actions should fulfill the goals. I'm kind of smushing the two together right now to make things a little simpler, because this isn't going to be as complicated as games that would use GOP. So here in our investigate thing, it's saying that like when you start this investigate action, then you're going to tell the action setter that the current action is this action, right? It's this one. So that way when the action setter is telling all the game objects to stop, it makes sure to not tell that game object that one action. Fuck, is that making sense? It is making sense. It's just making sure that the action that just said, hey, I'm the new action to start, is not receiving that same stop action. Okay, if I can work, trust me. So investigate this action. Yeah. But also we need to put a get owner in here to set this action, right? That needs to be programmatic. Okay, so I'm gonna take this, and then where's the one that has, there we go, right? So we'll take this send event and we'll put it in here. Okay, and this is using all actions parent, right? And it sends the event to children. That needs to be checked. And I think that's it. So now I could take these two and I could paste them in all the other ones as well, right? So it's like this one, that one, and action start, this one, and then we'll put the get owner in here as well for the other ones. See, this is why a template would be handy in the beginning, but I just didn't know what the architecture was. And honestly, right now, just because I've kind of beat out the logic of these, I don't need to. It's 4, how many do it? Yeah, 4 of these actions, didn't mind doing that. But templatizing things in the future, when you start building a ton of actions, that's why it's good to have, if you ever come in here and you go to, I guess I don't have any in here right now because I don't have any templates, but if you had a template, you can come in here and paste a template, which is so helpful because it'll just, all the shit that's usually in an action, right? So it's like, usually I always have this action stop, and then I always have this get owner on my start state, and I always have these 2 actions with these variables in this setup on a action start global transition. A template is nice because I could just right click and paste, and it'll do these 3, which every action should have. And then since it's not a proper template that I'm using, since I've only pasted the template in, I can add all this like bespoke, unique programming after it. You know, it's like, oh, just give me this start, like this kind of stuff to begin with, because that's always going to be the same. Okay, so I think that's about it for that. So these actions will now set themselves. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Um, and the goals thing, it says how scary. Okay, this is basically just calculating like when something should get spooked, which is fine. Um, so what's next? I think the thing to do would to be make sure that investigate actually works. So okay, so if we made this the sort of default thing, by the way, all these need to get turned, or actually no, they stay on. Right. Investigate. Um, I think maybe next room should be first. And leave current isn't really a thing. It just goes to this logic. Okay. So I want to say that let's check out goals. Fear, add, how scary, spook. Yeah, I think we'll see if we can keep this, but I think essentially this is where things really start. That this can go to this, and then this can go to this. Okay. Okay. So much work. Also, I think at some point I'm gonna need to go to the gym. Yeah, maybe in like half an hour to an hour. Okay. So, rooms remaining. This is where it gets kind of tough because now I have to actually go out here. This character is a prefab. I can delete him. Okay. So I need to start baking all this nav mesh shit. Fuck. Okay. Let's get everything that's walkable. This is walkable. This is walkable. Actually, hold on. Fuck. This is walkable. I kind of hate how this pack was organized, but what are you gonna do? Okay, so I have my nav mesh thing here. So where is so object collection? I forget how to do this. The thing is, I kind of hate the new. I have a love-hate relationship with the new Unity nav mesh stuff in 2022 and up. It uses these components instead of like the other thing. It's kind of annoying. So include layers. We don't want nothing. We want environment. Okay, so those are all the things that can have. I feel like default area is walkable. I feel like actually what I want is it used to be so much easier than this. Because now you have to put things on layers that are like walkable and not walkable, where that used to be a separate value. So it's like you can have all of your environment on an environment layer, and then some of those things in the environment layer are walkable and some of them are not walkable. But now it's just like fucking everything on that layer. That is super annoying. Fuck it. I'll just make it so it's just all the walkable part is only environment like that. Okay. So this is environment. This is environment. Stairs, environment. Okay, so let's just see if that puts nav mesh on those things. I just want to make sure I'm looking at this correctly. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So far, so good. And what's this? That's environment. This floor. Environment. Okay. This, I guess just this whole damn floor too. Environment. Yep. Cool. These stairs. Environment. Let's take a look at how this nav mesh gets created now. Let's clear it, bake it. Okay. Okay. Not bad, not bad. It's looking good. Yep, we're going up the stairs. That works. We need to get this second floor set up. Okay, let's get just this whole floor set as environment. These stairs set as environment. Okay, this whole floor, environment. That might honestly be it. Isn't the mesh in the stairs too narrow? We'll see. There, you can change an agent radius thing. I might adjust that after, but like, even if it was just a sliver, they would just run up that stair. You know, they'd run it up fine. Okay, so it's like we got outside. We can run up these stairs. We can come into this room. We can run around here. You can kind of see it. It does exist underneath these floorboards, so that's fine. We can go into this area. Holy shit. And then we can go up these stairs. And yeah, look, it is pretty narrow, right? But it'll work for now. We'll see if that becomes a problem later. These are not. Why did I not set these as environment? Why didn't this get set? These are set as environment. But that's weird. Why can't I go up these stairs right now? Let's try clearing and baking. Weird. Is there even a sliver under here? Can I just not see it? Huh. Why is that? Why is that? So here's where this is definitely a problem then, what you were talking about. So it's like I believe because of those stairs. Is it because they're like next to each other? I forget. So this was what's annoying is that like the old thing there used to be, let me see, is it still here? AI navigation. Oh, here we go. Radius. So we change it to like 0.25. I mean, that's like pretty thin. You know, this isn't good practice necessarily. There we go. So now it's on there. But see, it doesn't reach the top, which is also annoying. Height, step height, max slope. See, like, why doesn't this get created? Like right here, there should be enough space, right? Oh, the height. Let's change it to 1.5. It might be that this ceiling is really low. In fact, it makes me wonder, what does it look like when I put my dude right here? He's kind of like hitting his fucking head, huh? Like if I sink him into the ground. Okay, he's like right here. Yeah, look how low the ceiling is. You know, he's coming really, really fucking close to this. So I'm changing this to 1.5. Hopefully that will fix it. Clear, bake. There we go. Yeah, it was just the height thing because it recognized that there was a thing above his head. That's honestly fine. Because they weren't wide enough. Yeah, totally. Okay, so radius, blah, 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 slope, okay, name, humanoid, great. Drop distance, okay, cool. So I'm going to delete him. Okay, and then we have all this upstairs. We can go around here, All of this looks good. I think we're fucking gravy. Can you go on the roof? Is there like access to the roof somehow? Doesn't look like it, huh? Oh, you should be able to go out to these balconies. So let's make that environment and that environment. Is there anything else? Any other balconies or shit? Oh, right here. Another balcony. Actually, no, you shouldn't be able to do that because those are just windows. That actually makes me wonder, did I just make these? Because there is a doorway, right? Yeah. Okay, so I think that is our last bit of... Oh, let's make these parts also. Should be able to run in the grass. Environment. And environment. Is there more? Okay, like this. I hope this works out. Clear and bake. Okay. Okay, so let's say that we spawn our guy right here. So we'll do 3D object, cube. Let's just say that for now, this is where we're spawning them in. Let's get rid of this collider. And we'll call this like character spawn. Okay, and I'm just gonna put the FSM directly on this thing for now. We'll do a create object. We're gonna create the character and okay. This game object is going to be the spawn point, and fuck it, that'll be it. Okay, so the character will spawn here. We need to put nav mesh agent on this bitch. Nav mesh agent. Okay, and let's zero in some of these things. So the height is like right there, right? 1.6. Okay, not bad. And then we'll do acceleration is 999. His speed, we'll set it at 2 for now. Actually, no, let's set it at 3 just so we could debug quicker. Angular speed will also be 999. Auto braking, I think we want that. That's fine. His radius, though, let's set to something smaller like that, 0.25. Okay. And I think the rest of that looks good. Okay, so we have our little nav mesh agent here now. And in our next room logic, this is where we just get him going. This is where we just make him start doing shit. So action start, cool. Rooms remaining. Okay, so we need to figure out the logic to like count rooms and sort of like validate rooms as like places to go, right? So it's like, geez, my interface is a little laggy when I move these windows. Oh, you know what I bet it is? Can I turn all this off for now? Hide. There we go. Does that help? Can I resize this shit? Oh, also it's probably because the volume, huh? Global volume. Boop. Now does that change? No, it's still a little laggy. Interesting. I don't know why. So in that case, I'll turn that back on. So we're talking about rooms. How do we make rooms sort of count, right? What rooms do we have? We have the kitchen. Oh, did I make these stairs walkable? Hold on. Environment. I didn't even look through the rest of the house, huh? I didn't even like check shit. Okay, we have a bathroom. I'm just gonna, whatever, fuck it. So we have a kitchen, the foyer, right? I guess these should all count as rooms. Like he should investigate all these rooms too, right? And I fell asleep watching ASMR of Luigi's Mansion last night just to kind of keep me inspired. We have this, what would you call this? This is sort of just like a living room. I want to say that like, I want to say that they could just be colliders, but I just kind of hate the idea of, yeah, like maybe you put a collider at the entrance and exit of doors. So it's like right here, right? Like, let's just go like this. Create 3D object, cube, okay? And then you put it like right here, and you stretch it out so it's like covering this doorway, right? I'm not sure if this is the best move, but like essentially it's like when they enter this, when they enter it, that means that they've entered this room. But if they entered this, they've entered that room. So essentially these things are only, they're not looking for exit. They're not looking for on trigger exit. They're only looking for on trigger enter. And every on trigger enter overwrites some sort of, I'm not literally going to make it a global variable, but you know, like some sort of global, or not even global. It'll just be on the character, right? It'll overwrite the my current room thing, right? So that means when they enter this thing, because there's some space in between here, I think that'll work. I think that might actually work. Let's give it a spin. So we'll say that this is a trigger, and the layer is, we'll call it ignore raycast, and let's make sure our matrix, excuse me. So ignore raycast should not interact with UI, water, or other ignore raycasts. Okay, it should not interact with default. It should not interact with transparent effects, but ignore raycast. You know, honestly, fuck it. I'm gonna make a new layer. This is a game jam. We could use all 32 of these some bitches. So we're gonna make this like area triggers. Okay. So now down here we have this whole area triggers thing, and the only thing that we want this to interact with is actually not even character collider. We want it to interact with character entity. Okay, and I'm going to turn off all this. Okay, so area trigger collides with character entity. Yes, great. Okay, so that means on our character here, we also have a, we're just going to create a, I guess you could do a capsule. Like this. That height is, what did I say, 1.6? That's how tall he is. Or just 1? Is it 0.6? Am I changing anything here? Oh, this is just the collider. I'm stupid. So let's get rid of the mesh renderer. I don't know why I have that. Okay, 1.6. Just like that. Okay. Okay. So this will be character entity. Okay, and I'm gonna call this the character entity. And this is just so we don't have to use all of the I have like all these colliders on each of the limbs, on all the limbs. Just so we don't have to check all of those for this shit. This can just kind of be one centralized logic for that kind of stuff. We'll put it up here at the top too. So character entity, that means back here, this thing is always looking for that, right? So it's like, we'll add an FSM to this, and this will be, dude, why is my shit so laggy? Gotta go. You gonna stream after gym? I am. Yeah, I'm gonna hit the gym in a little bit, and then I'll usually only hit it for like half an hour. So come home, shower, eat, and then hop back on after that. Thanks for swinging by. Hopefully have some cool AI shit cracking in the next few hours. Trigger event, right? So we put in a trigger event here, and we're saying that when anything collides with us, tagged as not player, we need to add a new tag. Add tag character. Collide tag character. Then we're going to send the event. Next. Okay, we're going to store that collider as a new variable called character entity, right? And so this will be like standby for trigger. See you later then. Have a great day. Thank you. Thanks for swinging by. You too. Have a good whatever time it is for you. Have a good whatever the next time I see it until. Was that English? So standby for trigger goes there, and then here's where it sends an event to the game object character entity. I think what it should do honestly is a get FSM game object. It should get it from the character entity, and we'll say that this is character, and the variable name is also called character. Oop. Character and character, storing it as character. And we're sending that event to the character instead of the character entity. And the new global event will be character space / space update current area. Okay. And then we put in a next frame event down here that sends back. So it just comes back up here. Okay, we'll call this update area. So what that means is that over here on our character, on the entity, we need to add that FSM that we just pretended existed. That's called character. And on it, we need to put in a game object variable called character. And it's actually referencing the root character object. And then on that root character object, we can add in a, let's just put the FSM in here. Like, why the fuck not? We'll call this one, I don't know, like area manager or whatever the fuck. And then in here is where you put in global transition, custom events, character, update current area. Okay, and in here is where Oh. It doesn't need to send that event, but maybe it does. Because that's a way of saying that it's checked. Yeah, maybe it does. Okay, that's still fine. But what it needs in here, though, is a new game object called current area. This is a new game object variable called current area. Okay. And so back here, this thing will also set FSM game object. Does it before it sends the event. It says, hey, character, on your, what is it called? Area manager. Hope I'm getting this right. The variable name, current area, set it with, and then like, this triggers area. Okay, and this will be edit variable, an input variable. Okay, so that way we could drag and drop like the room name or whatever in there. 2Kid, what's up, 2Kid? How's it going? Hello, hello, hello. So then we can make this into a prefab and pop them all over the place. So I'm going to call this area trigger. Okay, prefabs, drop it in. So now here's the next question, is that do we just make it so actually it's like this is just the room? Maybe these area triggers are just the areas themselves. So like if we go in here on this init state, maybe we do set owner, or was it get owner, and we set that as this triggers area, right? And then this isn't an input, but instead you do like a set name in here, and you say this area name, and you make that an input. So, you know, over here we put this one in here, and what is this? This is like living room. Oops. Dude, yeah, I'm getting like big lag. I don't know what the fuck the deal is. What's going on? I don't have shit running. I mean, like, I was streaming. That's weird. I wonder why it's lagging so hard. Okay. Area trigger. Yeah, that's rough. Is living room, and then we'll say that we duplicate it and push it over here, and this one is the foyer, right? And we duplicate that and put it like also right here, or oh shit, that's kind of interesting, because what if it has an entrance and an exit? Do I just have to make this big enough? What the fuck? Maybe I just do that. I don't feel like that's the best option, but let's just say it's okay for now. Okay, so that's foyer, and this one is kitchen, right? Again, we need to stretch this out, so like, you know, something like this. Right there. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And then we take this, duplicate it, bring it in over here. And this one will be called, what kind of room is this? Is this, let's call this living room 2. Living room 2. And then we'll shrink this down and scooch it over here so it's covering that doorway. Like that. And then that's a bathroom. Is this like a bedroom then? No, because there's like a coffee table in there. Okay. And then we take this, duplicate it, bring it in here, but we need to scale this down like that, and that. Okay, so just when you enter the bathroom. And I keep saying you, but it's actually more like when the NPC does. Okay, so this is bathroom, or maybe downstairs bathroom, because I think there might be other bathrooms. And then you know what I want to do is I want to go inside these prefabs, and on here let's do a set visibility, because let's make them invisible so we can see them while we're working. But you know, I don't want to be like looking at all these gray cubes when we're navigating the space, or when our thing NPC is navigating the space. Oh, and we need to put one by the door too. So like, let's take this first one, duplicate it, and move it like right here in front of the doorway, right? And then we'll say this is, oh wait, that's the same one. It should be this. So this should go down like that. Right? Okay. I think that's it. I mean, there's more rooms, but I think that's like the gist of it. So we have living room, foyer, kitchen, living room 2, downstairs bathroom. Okay. Let's, as a test, just make sure that this guy will go to, he has to check rooms remaining, right? So, okay, here's the deal. All these area triggers, we're going to put them inside of an empty parent, and we'll call these areas, right? And then in Game Manager, we're going to add an FSM here. I haven't even set up the Game Manager. Let's put in get owner, and we're going to store this as a new global variable called Game Manager. And then in Game Manager, we will have a reference to the game object areas, which is right here. Okay. And the game manager, this will be called info. So that way our character, when they're looking for the amount of rooms remaining, what they'll do is get FSM game object, or actually we could do that here. It'll be getting from, this is driving me crazy how fucking, will this help? Is that all it was? Was it just me trying to render the game view out? It'll be looking for our game manager. The FSM name is info. The variable name is areas. And we're going to be saving that as areas. Okay, so we only get that once. And then when we check rooms remaining, what we do is get children from, wait, what the fuck is this? Finds multiple children. Oh wait, that is not, That is not the action I wanted. I have to search children. Get all recursive children? Oh, or is it child count? What is it? Get child count. That's what I'm looking for. Stupid. So rooms remaining. Get child count of. That's not right. That's not right. That's not right. So it's like, I have all the areas. Okay, so there needs to be some other logic in here. When you, okay. Hoo boy. I want to wrap this up. So I have 20 minutes to wrap this part up. And then I'm going to hit the gym. So it's like you have all these areas. At the beginning, it's just all of them. And as you explore each of them, they get taken off a list. So in character, our area manager trying to figure out like where to put this information. Like I have all these sort of like variables that I can imagine that we're going to need, but I just don't know where to put them. You have all these areas, and then you get the first one. I like the idea of them randomly running around the house, but also maybe there could just be an order to things. Let's just say it's an order to things, because it's going to be kind of weird if it's not at first. So they get the first item in that list, the first area in that list, and they set that as their destination, right? And then when they get there, so it's like, let's go to this next room logic, right? So it's like, are there rooms remaining? The question is it unexplored rooms remaining? Okay, so what it has to do here is okay, so one of the thing here that doesn't get taken care of here is when it's spooked and it comes back, there needs to be a place where this is, yeah, where do I put this logic? Fuck. I know I have the area manager FSM, and it can update where you are. Okay, I think there needs to be two variables here. There's current area, and then there's also new area. And when you get here, you do a compare game object, and you compare the current area to the new area. And if it's equal, then that means don't do shit. But if it's not equal, then you say next, and this is where you say you've entered new area. Okay, so this is actually a not equal is if it is equal, then you do skip, right? You skip that part. Okay, and it goes here where it will where it's just like it's not a time thing. Same area question mark. We want the NPC to go to an area and then explore each little interactable object in there, right? So they go into that one living room and they play with the piano. They examine a lamp. They examine a couch, whatever the fuck, right? So it's like if they're in a new area, or when they are in an area, that's what they do. They examine things. So, that's when they investigate, right? So this is when, so investigate means that they're currently in an area and they find a point of interest. They find a thing to examine. So that means that here they would be getting right. So that room actually needs to also have a reference to each of the things that they can examine. Right. So it's like right here, you say get current area POIs. And then you ask like already checked. You do kind of like a get next unchecked POI, right? This might even be a little run FSM. No, we could just put the thing there. So it's kind of like, this is like get next POI. And then under here, it says unchecked question mark, right? Or already checked question mark. If you already checked it, then you get the next one. If you haven't, then you go to it and you examine it. And you ask if there's any remaining ones. That's unnecessary because then, okay, I think that's how this works, because then examine and then it goes back up to here to get next POI, and then when that's complete, it can fire off to next room. Okay. Next room. I'm getting pretty hungry. Actually, I feel like I should go to the gym right now. Just because I'm going to want to eat soon. And it's getting hard to think. And we're getting up to like the real programming shit. Okay, cool. Well, so I'm going to hop off for a little bit. To everybody who tuned in this morning, thanks for swinging by. I'll be back in a little bit. I'm probably going to spend half hour at the gym, come back home, and shower up my stinky body, and then eat. So give me about like an hour or so, and I'll be back on, and we'll really get things swinging in here. So here we go. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you really soon.